eBay and Black Girl Fest Seller Academy. Before we start, we'd like to go over some housekeeping. Please keep yourselves on mute throughout the event so as not to disturb the panelists and fellow attendees. If you have any questions throughout the event, please share them in the chat box and the speakers will provide answers at the end of the session. The session will be recorded and made available on the BYP network site. I will now hand over to our host, Chris Gale. Chris, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. So I'm Chris Gale. I head up our social impact work at eBay in the UK. I've been at eBay a couple of years now, and before that was at Ben & Jerry's for 5 and a bit years, doing similar work to that which I'm doing. So just briefly on the structure of the session. So I'm going to talk for sort of 5-10 minutes, give you a bit of context around what we're doing, the relationship with Black Girl Fest, and then hand over to the people that you really want to hear from. So I'm going to hand over to Lee, who is the trainer on our second program with Black Girl Fest, to sort of talk through Lee's role, but also what she's hearing from businesses right now and some of the challenges that we often hear coming through in the program, and also how we're supporting businesses. And then hand over to Vera, who was on the first program. Hey Vera, to talk through your experience of being on the program, some of the challenges you faced, and a bit of where next for your business as well. And then we'll open the floor to questions. Please do send in the questions. There will always be that awkward bit when we stop talking, where there won't be loads of questions in. So please get them fired over, and we'll try and cover as many as we can in the time we've got. So that's the structure. So just as a bit of an overview of what we do at eBay in terms of supporting entrepreneurship and social impact. So we've got 3 areas of our work, and I won't go into too much detail on this, but just to give you some context. So we've got one program called eBay for Change, which is all about working with social enterprises. We have about 180 social enterprises on that platform, on that program. It's a partnership with Social Enterprise UK and the World Fair Trade Organization to try and link social enterprises up with the 20 odd million buyers that we have coming through the eBay platform every month. And we're looking to grow that as much as we can. So we started that last year. We're aiming for maybe 500 social enterprises by the end of the year, which is ambitious, but let's see. So that's one side of our work, is all about supporting social enterprises. Then we have, again, just for interest, we have a program called eBay for Charity. We have about 8,000 charities that trade through the eBay platform, but also you and I can sell things and donate a percentage of the proceeds to charity as well. And we raised about, I think it's about 39 million through that program last year. And then the third strand of our work is really around inclusive entrepreneurship, and that's obviously why we're here today. And that's really around how do we support founders to grow and develop through our site. And as part of that strand of work, we have our partnership with Black Girl Fest that we started probably about a year ago now. But the first program started back in November, and the program is all about helping Black women to thrive through eBay. And we started this work because we know the stats for Black women founders in terms of business outcomes are not amazing due to a variety of reasons. And these are slightly old stats from 2019, but paint a bit of a picture. So 37% of Black female entrepreneurs didn't make a profit in the year before, compared to 16% for white male entrepreneurs. And women-owned small, medium businesses still only account for about 29% of all small businesses in the UK. As I said, that might have changed a little bit over the last couple of years, and things have obviously changed a lot through COVID, with many more people starting businesses or side hustles. So that's something that we want to play a role in changing, in sort of utilising what we're good at. And again, like I said, around the eBay for Change work, really, how do we help Black women entrepreneurs to reach those 20 odd million buyers coming through our platform, by improving their knowledge of the platform and how to optimize what you do through eBay. And that's the sort of starting point for the program. And what the program looks like is it's sort of got 3 elements to it, and probably the most important element of it is the training program. So it's a 3.5 month program, which involves weekly webinars, really going through everything you need to, or we hope everything you need to succeed on eBay, alongside, this is new for you, Vera, you didn't have this in your program, but weekly drop-in sessions as well to sort of go away. You've got the technical content in the webinar, then you go away, you've got 3 or 4 days to test some stuff out, and then if you want, come back into those weekly drop-in sessions and get a bit of feedback. But then also importantly, for a coach, so that's Lee, so we'll hear from Lee in a minute, but a dedicated coach that you spend time with. You have 4 sessions over the duration of the program to really get into a bit more detail on your specific needs and how some of the knowledge and the learning that you've had over those 13, 14 weeks apply to your business. So that's one side of it. And I think what we've heard particularly is that one-to-one coaching is so important, particularly when lots of founders on the program are balancing other jobs at the same time. And Vera, maybe you can speak to this a little bit, but also in that phase of like building confidence as an entrepreneur, and is my business the right fit? Is my product the right fit? In getting someone to bounce some of those ideas off. So that's one side of it. You also comes with 0 fees for 6 months through eBay, which is obviously helpful for you to trial some stuff and explore some stuff, and Vera's nodding. And also a free anchor storefront to tell your story for your business in its best way as you can. So that's the second element. And then the third element, which I'll be honest, I don't think we've cracked yet, because we've been focused on how do we get the program right, and we'll continue to learn as we go with this. Like we're by no means cracked the program in the first 2 iterations of it, is around how do we utilize eBay's PR and comms to really tell stories of the fantastic Black women owned businesses that are now on eBay. How do we do that more and more? How do we reach consumers with the stories? And we'll continue to develop that work as we grow the number of entrepreneurs that we've had coming through the program. So we started with the first cohort of 32 founders, I think it was 31 or 32 in November last year, that graduated in February, March. I can't remember exactly what it was now, Vera. It's same. And then we've just about next week we will have the graduation for our second cohort of 60, just over 65, 66 entrepreneurs on this program. So we're 1 or 2 short of 100, which is annoying, but still, it's a good. It's amazing that I think we've managed to get the program off the ground with 98 founders, and we'll continue to develop the partnership with Black Girl Fest. We are planning to run a third cohort later in the year, and looking to try and bring probably around 100 founders into that third cohort. And we'll pop a link in the chat to register your interest when we've stopped, when we at the end of the session, but also in the follow-up email. We're just locking down whether that'll be in October or not, but we're just locking in the dates with Black Girl Fest around when that will be. So we'd love to see as many as you can sign up for that. So with that's sort of an overview of where we're coming from eBay, where the program's at. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Lee to talk through a little bit around how you support businesses and what you're hearing from businesses right now. So over to you, Lee.
Thanks very much there, Chris. And hi, everybody, and welcome. So yes, I'm Lee. I have been with eBay going on 5 years. And yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. So I would be the coach / trainer for the Black Girl Fest cohorts. So my role is a very supporting role for them. I would take them through the weekly webinars, which gets recorded. So for anybody that's not able to attend live, they will have access to the recordings to be able to watch back. As Chris had mentioned there as well, we also have the drop-in sessions, which I would be hosting. And then alongside the webinars and the drop-in sessions, we would have one-to-one meetings with the sellers on the cohort. These one-to-ones happen once a month, and it's really, I like to put it as it's their time. So it's the seller's time to let me know, what they need from me. Is there any specific supports that they need, or anything that they want to kind of go through, anything that they're not sure about? I'm also very happy to kind of take the reins on that. If any of the cohorts is just happy with the way things are going, I'd also then utilize that time to kind of go through the account and see if there's anything that I would suggest that they can kind of look into or tweak, or anything that will help them further develop their business. So as Chris had mentioned, I would be with the sellers for approximately 12 weeks. We would go through different parts of the session. So it would be things like listing optimization, marketing, retail standards. We would also talk about pack link, which is part of the packaging and things like that for eBay. So these would be webinars and things that I would go through with them. And as mentioned, then it'll be the drop-in sessions afterwards. So key challenges, there would be the biggest key challenge that I have come across with our sellers would be time management. A lot of our sellers would be mothers. A lot of our sellers would have full-time jobs or other commitments as well. So finding, the best way to kind of manage your time and give enough time to the program is really, really key in order to make a success out of it. Okay. So whether it's, you having the time to go to the live webinars or having to watch it after you've put the kids to bed, whatever you find that kind of works, and make sure that you've got a kind of balance in being able to spread your time around amongst everything that you need to do there. Another key challenge would possibly be, funding, and, how are they going to be able to fund their ideas? Because let me tell you, the ideas that this cohort has just been absolutely amazing. The businesses that have come out of this has been absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, the main two key challenges would definitely be your time management and then your funding. I manage I coach the ladies. They may have absolutely no experience with eBay whatsoever, and some would have experience only as buying, and some would even have a few years of experience behind their back when it comes to being a seller on eBay. To me, it honestly doesn't matter if you have any kind of experience or not. I would take it at your pace. So if you are a complete novice, would go through things with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that by the end of the 12 weeks, you are completely, up to scratch as to what you need to do when I hand you through to our concierge department. And then when it comes to kind of our side hustlers, okay. First thing, market research. You need to do your market research, because it's great to come up with a business idea and think that it's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to work. It's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And it flops because you haven't done your market research. You need to know your target audience. You need to know, how are you going to work things. Okay. So decide what you'd like to do. Reach out to your local authorities and see if there's any courses that you can take kind of part-time to even help you, start up the business. See if there's any local funding or things that will help as well. Okay. Social media. Social media is huge. Okay. It's your best way to market your business as well, and a lot of the times you can even do it for free. Things like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok is something that's become really big, and all of those, you don't have to do paid marketing and things. So yeah, definitely, use your social media presence, and lastly, get your name out there. So whether it's going to markets, whether it's going to exhibitions, you do need to put the work in to get the rewards out. So make sure that everybody knows who you are, what you do, in order to get your name out there. And on that note, I'm going to hand over to Vera.
Oh, am I there? Can you hear me? assuming that's yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Vera Najaku, and I am the founder of Non-LMV, the Non-LMV gift shop that is most probably just over a year old, actually, the 11th of May. It made it a year old. And just a bit about me, I have been a management consultant for over 20 years, so you can do the math, working in corporate organizations. I spent a lot of time working in Thomson Reuters, but also working with the Home Office, John Lewis, so a variety of corporate organizations. So in terms of the discipline, in terms of setting up a business, understanding how to do market research, there were some kind of core skills that I already had, but I'm still developing, that kind of made me think this is what I want to do. And really, as a result of that, I worked full-time for a very long time. I have young children, and trying to do everything at the same time proved to be a challenge. Also, there were some health concerns with my parents, so it meant that I had to work part-time. And after doing that for a while, it was like, well, what am I actually doing for myself? As I'm rushing, I'm kind of a bit of a taxi most of the time. So I was just like, I need to start doing something for myself. So it kind of started off really, and my parents also were Nigerian, so very entrepreneurial. My mum had a national employment agency, my dad had an accounting firm many years ago. And so there was always that entrepreneurial spirit within our family, but I just never thought I would do it. I was quite happy just doing what I was doing. And then I got to a stage where I think my daughter was selling poppets and fidget toys. Look them up if you don't know what they are. And they were like, I can sell those to their friends. Oh, mummy, can you buy a bulk so I can sell them? And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I was doing that. And then it was like, well, actually, my youngest had her little piece on the side. And I was like, actually, there's an opportunity for me as a mother to be able to sell to other mothers, not just toys, but also gifts and all sorts of things to do. So I set up a website. Actually, as Lee mentioned, I was also started to go to pop-up shops. So I did it across North London. I did lots of pop-up shops, just getting my name out there and also understanding customers, what people like. And so my range of things grew because I was seeing, people didn't just want toys, they liked stationery, there was party items, and there was a market for it. And also, obviously, we were still in lockdown, coming out of lockdown, so there was a need for local things. But it was great me doing these pop-up markets, but in terms of me being able to really sell and commission, it was at that time that I'd always known about Black Girl Fest. I remember many years ago, going to one of their festivals in East London. And I remember actually just wanting to kind of like see what they were doing. So I was always keeping in touch with their emails. And then I found out about the program, and it just happened at the right time where I had a business idea, but I just didn't know how to really sell online. And, if for anybody who's ever done a market or a pop-up shop, standing up and setting down is no fun, but it is a really good way to meet your market. And I think that's really helped me kind of do that foundational research for my business, as Lee has mentioned. And so I saw the email. They have weekly, monthly emails, that it was about the program. And I'm already a person who loves a bit of eBay auctioning. So my personal site, I was selling a few bits and pieces on eBay, things that I bought that will do some more mainly. But I just thought, actually, this could be interesting. And I kind of read the notes and put the application form in. I don't actually want to read the application form because I'm sure it was very aspirational at the time. But one thing I was really interested in was number one, it meant that I was working with other Black women. So we were, and I really wanted to be, if I was going to do something, I want to be around my people. I want to be around Black women of color who actually have so many amazing ideas. And I had met so many of them going to do all these pop-up shops. So it just felt really, really natural to do that. And so I joined that program, really trying to understand, it's one thing selling a few bits and bobs, but actually, what are all the kind of techniques and tools that you need to be able to sell online? And it's not literally just about posting a couple of pictures. There are a whole gamut of things that go through that. Yes, there's the marketing, it's understanding your market and actually really researching your product. Some of my pictures are still a bit rubbish, I will say, but I'm getting there. And just understanding, having a range of products and understand what people want, and also having a plan. So, we sell predominantly gifts, but I also know that people also want to be able to have what, I think Arun, who was the Lee of my generation, he used to call it the milk, bread and eggs. So what are the things that people regularly want? So I've researched some of that. I'm still looking. I will tell you that one of them is lashes. So we're still trying to optimize those products. And so what the program really did for me was it gave me the confidence really to, and I think I was a bit of a bull in a china shop. I was like, oh, I really want to do this, because my mindset was there. And so I was doing that research. I was, we didn't have the drop-ins, which I'm a little bit jealous about, but, I had a really good relationship with my coach, the Lee equivalent, and who was really challenging me. He was like, V, do you want to do this? I was like, absolutely. And so in terms of understanding my product, understanding things like promotions, understanding all of those techniques, I think I just saw a question in the chat about, oh, they do training. Actually, all that training while you're trying to develop and build your business is great. But, with that also comes discipline. So I think one of the things I know is I still have a job that funds me. So I'm in a privileged position. I work part-time. And so that funds my being able to do this business. And I have made a couple of mistakes, which I won't tell my family about. I've definitely made a few mistakes, but I've been able to fund that. I think being disciplined is a really big thing. So being able to juggle my work life, my home life. Anybody who has preteens know the madness that goes on in our house. I have mine are 11 and 12, and it's a bit crazy sometimes. So homeschooling was an interesting time while trying to launch a business. But also it's understanding what other sellers are doing on eBay. So right now, party supplies are really big. So being able to use some of the seller tools that you have to see, okay, well, what is trending right now? How does that align with what I'm trying to do in the beginning of the summer, just before school starts? So thinking about in my mindset was something that was really, really good on the course. I'm hoping this helps. And so in terms of what's next for me, I have just actually last week we launched Summer Sun. So it's really about our marketing plan. So it's everything around summer fitness, going out and swimming. So really optimizing my pictures and also really optimizing some of the things I sell. Also recognizing and looking to the end of the year. So we've launched a new campaign, but I'm already planning to what we are selling in October, November. So Halloween and Christmas is really my focus. And I wouldn't have thought about that before, but that's where I am at the moment. And so I think just to conclude, because I think I might have gone over my time. Nobody's warned me, but I think I might have done, because I love talking about this and can talk about it for ages, but I know time is of the essence. Anybody wanting to join the program, I would absolutely see, yes, don't even think twice, just do it. But also recognize that eBay are going to give you, they'll help you understand the marketing, the products, all of those things, but you have to be ready. And I think one of the things is I was ready because my business was already formed. I had already established a business. I was already kind of selling. And so for me, thanks, Rose. So for me, it was really about, okay, how can I apply that? Why am I not making sales? Okay, what do I do? So sometimes there's this really funny thing when eBay, what do? They do when every time I make a sale, there's this little thing that goes off on my phone. So I remember I just kind of do thanks be to God every single time I get a sale, because I'm quite happy about that. But I would say do that, but also have a plan. It's not just about, it's a different mindset from you going to buy something on eBay. It's your business, it's your baby. And so in terms of understanding what you're going to sell, understanding your market are really important. And ask those challenging questions. I think one of the things I didn't do so well when I was on the program is I was a bit of a lone wolf. I was very lasered, which is good, but it meant that support of understanding what other women are doing, I most really didn't get as much, not that I didn't get the support, as I didn't tap into that as much as I could, because there were times when I was looking at the webinars at 2 o'clock in the morning while wrapping things, having done my own work. So it's also about balancing your work. It's not just about, I'm going to quit my job today and I'm going to go and work on, it's not like that. We wish it was. And sometimes there are high highs and low lows when working on this piece. So right now, things have kind of quietened down a bit. But then rather than getting upset about it, I'm also trying to really use the Seller Academy and use some of the resources that eBay have to help me understand, okay, well, what do I do in these downtimes? What do I have to look at? Okay, should I bring my plan forward? So I'm always challenging myself. I still love those lovely little sales. And that's it, I think. So I'm hoping that helps you a little bit. And I'm happy to answer any questions. So I should hand it back to Lee and Chris, I guess.
There we go. I wasn't allowed to unmute. I had it locked away from me. Thanks so much, Lee and Vera, for sharing your stories. And there are a few questions coming in the chat, and just urge everyone to put your questions in as well. But just before we go to them, just a couple from my side, and for you first, Vera, if that's okay. Two for you. One, you talked a little bit about it, but just what pushed you over the edge to join the program? Because already you've sort of got to be in that space to be like, right, I'm going to commit to 13, 14 weeks. You mentioned about, your daughter was selling their fidget toys and things like that, and you were thinking this is something for me. But what tipped you over the edge to be like, do you know what, I'm going to commit to a 13-week program? Oh, you're on mute as well. Can I unmute you?
Okay, there we go. I can unmute myself.
There we go.
I'm always about learning. It was, again, it's timing. I commit. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if the 13th, in order for me to learn, I thought in order for me to learn, it's not going to happen overnight. And also, as I said, I manage my time, in terms of my family time, my work time. I was able to juggle that, because I own that. I'm a consultant, so it's very easy for me to. Today I've been loading products naughtily, and I know that I have 4 hours. I'm going to have to write a presentation for my boss tomorrow. So it's also about me really owning my time, and knowing that I could commit to that. And also, the great thing about the information that was sent was that, and both of you have mentioned it, is these things are recorded, and we live in a world where people don't work a 9 to 5. And for me, and don't know, nobody would be offended by this, but it's not a side hustle to me. Sometimes I wonder what that term side hustle means, because to me, it was me trying to do something new for myself. And I had to, if I'm doing it for myself, I have to commit to it. And so if it's 12 weeks, and there are definitely times where someone was sick in the background and I'm tapping away and I'm learning, that's what I had to do. So
that's really helpful. And my other one was, and this is one that I just generally have for anyone that starts their own businesses. You've got to be the merchandiser, the photographer, the e-com expert, the social media expert. How do you approach all of those different skills that you've got to build alongside understanding eBay? I'm still learning. And it's really funny because we're doing this stuff with TikTok, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm literally, my daughters have just, if anyone looks on TikTok, my daughters have taken over some of that. I'm like, I can't cope. But you have to be everything. But I always say that if you're going to do anything, you have to know how it works. So the great thing about the seller program is, I think there was a time before Christmas and I had these crackers and they weren't selling. Who doesn't buy Christmas crackers at Christmas? Anyway, they did sell, but it was like, I think, the trainer at the time said, well, you've got to do a promotion. I was like, how do I do a promotion? How do I do a promotion? And having to continue to do these bits and pieces, because I need to learn them. And once I learn them, and then I can share, when somebody else is asking, I can share them. So for me, it's not about, is that a challenge for you? It's, if it's my business and I'm owning it, then in order for it to grow, I need to know every single bit. And I think by my very nature, I'm a project program manager. I need to know how all of these things work. I know somebody's going to say I'm a bit controlling, but I'm not going to say that about myself. And that's the only way. You have to learn these things. It's not like I'm working for somebody else. If it's my business, Instagram, my work Instagram, my business Instagram is very different from my personal one, keeping those very separate. And making sure that, the persona of Nonyelem V is very different from V, who likes a bit of a laugh and has all of her mumsy friends. And it's also about playing those different roles and constantly making sure that it's like, as I said, Vera, personal eBay, and the things that I buy on my personal, sell on my personal, is very different from my business and the way I treat those. So I have many heads. Thanks. And one more, and I promise I'll then get to the questions in the chat, is for Lee, and actually triggered from something that Vera said, and Vera would also like your view on this as well, but around like, what are you seeing? Because there are just naturally low points, aren't there, when people have had a bump and they're like excited, and then maybe the next week it flattens out. How do you deal with that with all of the sellers that you work with, Lee? Oh. Can I unmute you? I can't do it. Maybe Rose, Ida, can you unmute Lee?
Yay, I'm
Oh,
unmuted. There we go. Okay, so for me, I always let people, know, look, Rome wasn't built in a day. The first 12 weeks, if you make a sale, yay. If you don't make a sale, that's fine. To me, it's important that you have a rock solid, strong foundation. Okay. And that's where I come in. I come in to help you build that strong foundation. Okay. Once the strong foundation has been built and you understand, the way that the algorithms work, and look, nobody's ever going to know 100% how it works. But I mean, we have an understanding over time and things like that. eBay do loads of research into what buyers like, into, how things work. And eBay is a, constantly changing e-commerce site. And, it's important to listen to the advice that people like myself would have, because we're doing it in your best interest. So, I'll be there to help pick you up on those lonely days. I'll be there to say to you, look, like I said, it's not built in a day. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. I mean, on the current cohort that I'm working with, not everybody has had a sale. And that's fine, because they're building on themselves. They're building on their business. They're building, the foundation on eBay. They're getting to know the system, so that when I hand them over to concierge and to wherever else they go through eBay, they know what they're doing. And that's going to help them get the sales come in, because they'll know what to tweak if something's not working, where to go, where to look. Because if you have access to the Seller Hub and you look at the Seller Hub, you're not going to know where to go, what to do, what is what, what is the traffic report, what is the Seller Hub, what is, item specifics that are needed, that are required, and things like that. So just take your time, listen to the coach that you have, make sure that you attend as many of the sessions as you can, especially the sessions that Black Girl Fest hosts themselves as well, because that would be like a networking session. And make sure that you speak to the other sellers that are on the same cohort as you, because the cohort at the moment, it's just, they're an amazing bunch of women. Like, they all want to help out each other. Some of the ladies would sell very similar things, but it doesn't matter. They're in this together. They're in it to help each other, and everybody builds up everybody else's spirits.
Yeah, nice. Thanks, Lee. So now I'm going to go to make sure that we cover all the questions we've got in the chat. So there's quite a few that have come in. The first one is, what's the best way to understand your target audience if you haven't sold anything? And this is to Vera or Lee, I would say, and I've got a view myself, possibly.
Do you want to go, Lee, or should I?
You can go first, and I'll add anything.
So I think what I did is I have an Instagram business account, as I'd said, and I had done some ads actually, and I had taken some research. And actually with that, you were able, once the ad is run, they give you the stats, and from that stats I was able to understand who my audience were. They're actually women younger than me, which meant that I've moved a whole number bracket, but that's a whole nother story. They're based in London. There was all of those demographics I was able to very easily understand. And then I took that and then I started Googling, what does that actually mean? Okay, well, what do they like? And what other things are targeted around them? So, paid for ads, sometimes you get some of them for free on Instagram actually, or they'll give you a percentage towards that. But also, and I bring this back to, because we're talking about eBay, but also on eBay, I love lots of products, and I think Lee as well as Chris have mentioned there is a Seller Hub. I use Terapeak about 500,000 million times a day. It is my thing. I was snooping around and found, and what it does is you search terms. So for instance, I will tell you that I am currently selling rubber rings, donut rubber rings, gorgeous things, and I did the research and I basically used that as a keyword term to be able to understand what's the price point, how, who's buying them, how many of them are, what other things, what's the cross-sell and upsell opportunity, and some of these terms are also very similar to my work life as well, and I think that that's maybe the reason why I was quite inquisitive to understand what were these things, and so that's kind of how I did my research. So, and I kind of just keep on optimizing that, keep on looking at that, because you're never finished. I'm never finished, and I find myself on my phone at 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes I would not recommend this, but just researching what are people looking at. You know, last week I was selling first boy baby party boxes, and everyone was going crazy for those. Now everybody's gone to jungle ones. So it's always kind of seeing what are people looking at, and actually eBay give you lots of recommendations. So that's a really good opportunity, or that's a good opportunity. And actually looking at that and interrogating some of those. When did they, and also what time of year did they sell? Sorry, that's a very long-winded way to answer that. I won't do that again. Sorry.
That's super helpful. There was a couple of questions just saying, what is Terapeak?
Terapeak, oh man, Terapeak is one of my passions as well, just as passionate as Vera is about it. Terapeak is a tool available to business sellers on the Seller Hub. Okay, it's an analytic tool. You can search on a specific eBay site, or you can even search on all the eBay sites. You can go back as far as 365 days. You can search your sold items that have been sold, or items that are currently selling. It gives you information such as what the selling prices are, if people have put it on promoted listings, you know, how many watches listings have, you know, it gives you analytics as to kind of when, you know, what time of the year had most sales. You know, it's just an absolute invaluable tool that eBay had purchased a few years ago and now provide to our business sellers for free. It truly is a phenomenal tool. It can be daunting, I'm not going to lie. I was very scared of the tool when I first saw it, until I really started playing with it. And the more you kind of play with it, and you put your, you know, key terms in that, or words that you're looking to, keywords and things that you're looking to put in there, the more familiar you'll become, and the more you'll get out of it. So yeah, it's really an invaluable tool that is available for free to eBay business sellers.
Thanks both.
But sorry, can I just say,
before
you become an eBay business seller, maybe you're waiting to go on the program, you can actually be searching on eBay itself. Yep. And actually using your keywords. Sorry, I kind of just want to make sure that I covered that. Sorry, because it was the last thing my coach said to me. It's like, just in case, you know, just remember that you can actually do some of these things. So yes, we're talking about business hub selling, but as you're doing your research and trying to find out what you want to do, you can do as many wildcard searches. Sorry, I'm not sure if that's still a term, it's very old. Searches on the standard eBay, and just keep drilling in. Okay, what is this? What color? Da da da. You can keep asking those questions, because that also helps.
Yeah, thanks, Vera. There's a few practical ones that I'll come to at the end. There's one around shipping. So shipping extremely eats into profits. Is there anything you can do to combat high shipping prices? Vera, from your face, it feels like it's a question that you have battled with before.
I mean, it's a bit of a shock, isn't it? I think it's about understanding your product and doing the research, you know, and definitely someone who has definitely had a few fines as a result of underweighing things. I can say that. I definitely know that it does eat into your product, and that's why the research is so important, because what the research is telling you, not just the selling price, but it also gives you an idea of what's the weight. And also choosing where you post. So there's, you know, you can't beat the post office for in terms of your smaller items. For your larger items, there are many, you know, Packlink, as I think was mentioned earlier, there are a number of couriers, and you have to find the one that works best for you. And then once you're kind of gaining that momentum, you know, then you set up a business account with them, and then, you know, you get further options. So yes, it does eat into profit. I wouldn't say it eats into profits, and that's the total cost of your product. So, you know, when you're trying to find your price point, you have to factor in and get a good understanding. That is all part of the research. Actually, it's not just about these lovely products, it's about how am I going to ship it. You know, the great thing is that you're also part of the global shipping program, so you're you have, you know, people worldwide, well, for a number of countries, can access you, but you just need to, and that's a core part of your research. And I'm not sure we spent as much time as I would have liked on the course looking at that, but I definitely know it was something that was mentioned in terms of, you know, postage and packaging is my thing, because it's the one thing I get a lot of feedback about. Oh, you're using eBay box. I didn't know eBay had boxes. Great, you know, people love it. So I obviously go out and spend loads of money on getting all of the boxes. But it's the thing that you know, even your packaging cost, that's also a part of your cost that you need to do your research on.
Thanks, Vera. Lee, anything to add to that?
I would definitely second Packlink. So Packlink would be a company that would essentially go through to the likes of Royal Mail and the couriers and negotiate a price that is actually better than the starter prices that you'd get from couriers and Royal Mail. And you will then get a discounted postage rate. Depending on what your products are, include the cost of postage into your actual listing price. Buyers don't realize that, they actually are paying for postage, even though they see free postage. They just think, oh, free postage, let's go, but meantime, I think 99.9% of the sellers are incorporating that into the actual listing price itself. When it comes to eBay, use your marketing, like your order discounts and your multi-buy, because even though you've got the cost of the postage and the packaging and everything in your listing price, when they're purchasing more, chances are it's not going to cost you anything extra. So what you're doing is the discount that you're giving to your buyers is actually just the postage discount. They don't see it that way. They see it as, if I buy more, or if I buy to a certain value, I'm getting a discount. That's what they see it as. They see it as the seller being really nice. Whereas, you're still getting your cost price that you want. You're just giving them the discounts on the postage.
Thank you, Lee. So there's another one. There's a few parts to this, and I think this is for you, Vera. From everything you've learned on the course, what was the biggest thing that took your business to the next level? Have you seen a rise in the number of sales? And if so, by sort of what percentage roughly?
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure how to answer. I'm going to answer that as honestly and as I can. So as I said, I was selling maybe 2 or 3 things a week before I did the course. And, the reality is that now I'm selling, my own kind of on a really, really good day, I'll be selling 20 items a day. So that's quite, and actually over the Christmas period is way more than that. So I think that what eBay has given me is kind of the disciplines of selling. Will I be on eBay forever? I can't say that, but right now my business really works on eBay. I'm also still learning. I'm still learning how to look at my competitors, how to market my products. So yeah, so absolutely, I definitely think that I definitely had a target before I finished the course. And I made it, which was to make sure that I'm regularly selling. So I'm really, really happy with that.
Nice, thanks, Vera. So then, where do I go next? I tried to keep an order of these, but I'm not doing very well. So there was one. I think this goes back a little bit to maybe the market research side, but if there's anything to add, how do you choose among many business ideas that you might have? Maybe for Lee or Vera.
Do you go ahead first, there, Vera?
Okay, so as I said, I kind of started really the kind of mummy market, like, I'm selling some toys, and by doing that research, it expanded. I think your business can change. The more research you do, the more things that you see are out there, and it also has to be what you can afford and you can have access to. So for me, it's really about, and people keep saying, but I promise you, if you remember nothing from what I'm saying, it's research, yeah. Fell fast, so there were definitely some I bought some really rubbish candles, like, because I thought that they were a winner. I was stuck with about 30 candles that nobody wanted, but then somebody did, so I was fine. But I didn't do the right research. I thought it was a really good deal, but so I realized that is not the level of the candle market I want to go into. So I've done that. I've failed fast. I've moved on. I've bought the t-shirt and I can move on. And then that's I think that's with any business. And I think the key thing is that eBay is providing a platform for your business to sell. You still have to, all the disciplines around having a business still apply. What eBay's doing. And I think there is a question in there about in the chat about this, which is eBay providing a mechanism, the marketing. I researched something on Google and one of my pieces came up. I was like, oh my gosh, my first product on and I see some of my products on a Google search. So if you think about it, any big marketeers out there, that in terms of your SEO optimization, all of those things that you need to do for Google, you get that. when you've, I think we were talking about item specifics, when you're listing, you're doing all your keywords, listing, you get that as part of the eBay program. So I think what it's doing, it's almost like it's a bit of a cocoon. So there are e-commerce businesses, but then there's also running your business on the eBay platform, and you get a number of things that people would pay for separately within eBay.
Cool.
But obviously there are, and that's the great thing about having the shop, because for 6 months as part of the course, sorry, I was going to bring it around, for 6 months, you get all of this for free. And obviously there are fees afterwards. So, excluding postage, all of those things, they come for free, and that there is a cost associated with them. But for 6 months, you get to do that. And it's a really good experience.
Yeah, and that brought around to one of the questions around what are the benefits of selling on eBay versus other competitors. And I think you sort of alluded to it there, Vera. eBay won't be right for everyone. And we're not saying that. I think through the program we're saying try it out, explore, learn along the way, and work out what works for you, and try to de-risk some of that with some of the things that we're providing through the program. What the two things I would say around eBay, we have a lot of people coming to eBay. So like I said, I don't know exactly what the stat is anymore. It used to be 28 or 29 million buyers a month. So that's why I said 20 odd million. So there's a lot of people that are coming to eBay. So that is a huge benefit. But also the one that I would say actually brought me to eBay is the fact that we only make money when the businesses through our site make money. We don't sell anything else. And so we have every reason to support small businesses to thrive through our platform because of that. So they're the bits I'd say. I don't know, Lee or Vera, if there's any others you wanted to add to that.
I was going to actually mention that eBay are the platform for buyers and sellers to come together. So we are not going to be we don't sell. So we won't be putting our products in front of anybody else's products or anything like that. So that is a huge difference between some of the competitors out there. If you have a look at, where eBay have started to where eBay are now, like we're going from strength to strength every year, even through the pandemic and after the pandemic. So it's essentially, where you're getting a lot of the marketplace and things like that. So, yeah.
Cool. So then there was a few practical things, and then I might hand it over to any last questions or last words of wisdom. So, for businesses such as mine that offer a service rather than a product, would this be the right program? At the moment, eBay focuses on products, so it wouldn't be the right fit for you at the moment, I'm afraid. The other one was around how can we sign up to the program? We will, as I said at the start, we sort of just in discussions around when the next program will launch. It will be this year, but it will be after the summer. We will put in the follow-up email the address to go and register your interest, and then as soon as the program's confirmed, you will get an email from us and the Black Girl Fest team. And really wanted to emphasize that this is by no means an eBay program. This is an eBay and Black Girl Fest program. We are in learning mode constantly. There'll be several iterations of this program as we continue to develop it and refine it and get it right, or as right as we can get it. And so that's why we constantly want to hear from everyone that's going through the program, so that we learn with Black Girl Fest and continue to develop it. And then there was one around what price point must your products be at to sell on the program. Is it for mass market products only? There is no limit, lower or higher, and it just depends more on some of what Vera said around, are you the right fit in terms of your products for that category on eBay, and the eBay buyer on that's coming to eBay for that product, and doing the market research around that, but also testing and learning as you go. So there is no lower or upper limit, and you do get an anchor store for the duration of the program that you can brand up. So that was the only other question I had. And there's some have come in recently. Says one around the average price point of buyers on eBay. That's a really hard one. I'll be honest with, there's such a range of categories that sell on eBay, and it's very specific to that category, I would say. So we have a huge home and garden business. We have a huge fashion business, collectibles, parts and automotive. Like it goes across every type of product you could imagine. So really hard to determine that. But again, as Vera said, go into eBay for your product or your area and just see what stuff is selling at the top of the eBay listings. How do we purchase eBay boxes is a question that I don't actually know. Vera, you might be the one for that.
Well, there's one thing is with the seller shop, you get packaging. You get a discount on packaging for the anchor shop. I think you get £20 off your packaging. But there's actually eBay, I think it's called eBay packaging, my best friends. You can order from them. And that is kind of like the official eBay store for selling packaging, and they're great, really. So yeah,
there's boxes, there's tape, there's packaging, there's so much with them.
Thanks both. So this might well be the last question before I hand over for any last words of wisdom. So Vera and Lee, get prepped for that. I don't know if I've prepared you for that final question. And there's one, this is for you, Lee, I think, around selling digital and downloadable products on eBay. I know we're doing some stuff around NFTs, but it is not my expertise. I don't know, Lee, what you can share on that side of things.
So sorry, just want to repeat that again there for me.
Sorry, downloadable or digital products.
Yeah, so we do allow digital products. Okay, it is something that is on the rise. Okay, at the moment we don't offer much support in the way of protecting buyers and sellers with it, but it is something that we are working on. So you know, one of the members in the cohort at the moment are doing digital sewing patterns. So yeah, you know, depending on what kind of digital product it is, we do allow it.
Excellent. And so there's one last question, which is around, is the program strictly for women? So at the moment, the program is targeted at Black women and non-binary people. It's a relationship with Black Girl Fest, and so at the moment the program is focused there. Who knows in the future if we will grow the program beyond that, but at the moment it is focused on that group. So with that, maybe to you first, Vera, closing thoughts or closing advice if someone's thinking, do you know what, I want to get my business off the ground, but I'm not necessarily ready to jump in. What's your advice?
I would say, first of all, it's been a real privilege to be here and listen to all the questions. I'm telling you, it's been great being able to do that. I don't feel like I don't do it often enough, so it's brilliant. My final thoughts are absolutely do that, but also do your research, and don't expect that it will all just come. You actually have to do the work. So it might be that the program might not be right for you this time round because you need to maybe do a bit of a prep. I definitely think I was ready. And when I speak to other people, they weren't necessarily as ready. And so there is do I want to spend some time focusing on my business a bit before I do the program? Because it is such an opportunity, because anchor stores cost a lot of money. There are a lot of things that you get and you just don't want to waste the time. And I appreciate Lee has said, you know, even if you don't make a sale, that's okay. But for me, I was like, no, I need to make more. I need to make sales. Listen, first week, I need to that's me though. That's how I am. And so, because I really thought that it was an incredible opportunity. And, you know, as one of the questions, it has been for my business. So I would say do that, but just do the research.
Thanks, Vera. And Lee, from your side, closing
thoughts?
If
you feel that you're ready, but you're just not sure, go for it, apply. You know, you might think, oh, well, eBay might not be for you, but you won't know until you've really tried. Like eBay is constantly evolving. Things that I see are selling well now. 3 years ago, I thought like, no, that would never sell on eBay. You know, I would never ever see it here. So definitely, I mean, the support is amazing. I can, like, where Chris has mentioned, you know, the social enterprise and things, I was involved with social enterprises, but I'm involved, like, but this is the first time now that I'm involved with Black Girl Fest, and man, it's been an absolute honor. It has, you know, the excitement, the positivity from everybody has just been absolutely phenomenal. I am so grateful that I was chosen to be the coach. I have learned so much, just like I hope they've learned from me. So yeah, you know, apply, see what feedback you get, and if it's not for you this time, it could be for you the next time.
Thanks both. And just before I hand back to BYP, a huge thank you to Vera and Lee for giving up your time to share your experiences teaching on the program and going through the program. And from my side, like it's a huge privilege to be able to have this partnership with Black Girl Fest. Like I said, we're constantly learning. Like we know e-commerce and trying to leverage the skill set that we've got, but we've got a lot to learn across lots of many other things that Black Girl Fest are helping us, and the sellers on the program constantly feeding back and sharing with us are the ones that are going to shape the program for the future. And like, honestly, what's the point of this job is to hear from Vera and other sellers that are seeing things move forward and change and develop. And that's the point of it. So with that, I wanted to hand back to, I don't know if I'm handing back to Ida or Rose, but thanks everyone for joining as well.